Book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, starting at verse 1, and it reads, Prophecy against Mount Seir. Mount Seir was the capital of Edom. It reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto this, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Verse 7, Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Loyim, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Kodash. I want to say double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad. In the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. By Hashem, by His end, how is the Hashem His name. Yahushua meaning He saves, or He delivered. True names of the Most High God and His Son, who these people ignorantly call God, and Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. This lesson is inspired by this video that I saw. Probably won't even play it. It's always something. There's a video going into that book by the two Edomites called Without Sanctuary, where it was pretty much a pictorial of the different lynchings, and they were called nigger barbecues, where they burnt up Jake. It's funny because all of a sudden now I can't get no internet. And pretty much based on Esau's track record and his history, scripture's talking about it's going to be a perpetual hatred between Esau and Jacob, and we seeing that play out in real time, So, just like you have certain individuals with this doctrine of the heathen is going to make it, they're going to receive salvation, they're going to be beamed up, but yet still, scripture said, the Lord has put enmity between thy seed and His seed, So how, if it's enmity between the two nations, how is they gonna be on the chariot with Jake? You know what I mean? But whatever. I mean, it ain't whatever, because the thing is this, it is offensive. It is, but it's also the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Again, the elder made a statement. And he said, pretty much out of all the confusion, like these two guys is bringing the most. He said they worse than IUIC and ISUPK, because especially due to the fact that a lot of people believe that they, scholars. They think they know something. You know, I heard a elder brother make a statement. He said, just because you're a good debater doesn't make you a prophet. You know, prophets prophesy. They don't debate. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck? But anyhow, I had some scriptures. I wanted to play the video, but it don't look like I'm going to get an opportunity to. So that's the will of the Lord, though. And that's why Edom's going to get this horrific judgment, because of the fact that of their wickedness. This is the book of Amos 1 and verse 11. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh shall be outshot for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. The Teman is the head tribe, and then Basra was the capital city in the land of Edom. So it says, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because the scriptures tell you in the book of Obadiah, these devils have a judgment set up. Pretty much Obadiah 1 and 18. They're going to be pretty much burnt up, like a bonfire. They're going to serve out their captivity. And then, after 1,000 years, they're going to be destroyed. Because at the end of the day, they are the wicked of the earth. Look at what the energy people bring to the planet. Confusion, lies, wickedness. With these people in rulership, look at how, I didn't watch the video, but I saw the title of a brother's lesson. He said, the earth needs new management, because these people have destroyed pretty much the experience of living. Everybody's miserable. You know what I mean? I can tell some little personal shit. I am. Just show you how, and this place is broke too. Like, there's a lot of little shit that, it's funny because I'm not surprised. Again, I remember my brother saying something a long time ago. You sit up here working for a system, but then you try to sue the system. You think that's gonna work out? Let's see how that work out for you. You know what I mean? That's just like with us. They know exactly whom everybody is. But the funniest part is this. I had a case back in like 2000. This shit is 25 years old. Tell me why they hit me with a bill talking about I never paid the case. And I'm like, a part of probation is you gotta pay your fines. If you don't pay your fines and do everything else, you can violate your probation. So you telling me after 25 years, y'all just think that's how broke these motherfuckers is? They just trying to come up with some way to get some money. If you don't get the fuck out of here. And this goofy broad talking about, I gotta check into the matter. What do you mean? I say, listen, ain't no fucking way I owe you people no money when literally when I just came down there, either I've paid it off or I did community service. Either way is get paid, because, community service pretty much, they get paid for that. You know what I mean? Tax dollars go to that shit. So either I physically paid it or I did community service, but ain't no way after 25 years you telling me, oh no, we just, Like I said again, if that one of the most thirstiest moves of these motherfuckers broke, and this shit about to go down. That's crazy. And that's why, again, just by the way that the devil move, you can't never trust him. You know what I mean? Again, I just brought up, a scenario, you know what I mean, after 25 years. So you just go double dip. I got to pay it twice, huh? Fuck out of here. The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou hast been unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his wrath hath not been altogether wiped away. The brother was going into the fact, if you're familiar with metal, like how iron, you can clean iron, and pretty much the oxidation will pretty much come back. So you could have cleaned it, with a wire brush, and yet still, because of how the metal was set up, the rust will come back. So just like Esau, Edom is just naturally wicked. You know what I mean? Scriptures tell you that they don't sleep unless they cause something to go off. You know what I mean? They sitting plotting a wickedness while they in their bed laying down, supposed to be resting. Verse 12, set him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You put this man in the position, and it shows you that in the account of Esther with Haman. Haman was put and elevated to position in Artaxerxes' army, but the whole time he's trying to plot. When you read it in the Apocrypha, he was trying to plot to pretty much take over, this man's kingdom. And I wish I could have played it, but, I think I would have had to stop my video and then restart it, because I would probably have to it's for whatever reason, my phone, that's how you can see the internet gonna go out one day. My phone won't. My phone, internet is getting real shitty, But it was the guy that was brought up without sanctuary was the guy. He played the Predator, the first Predator, that black guy. I think his name is something Duke. He was the guy that who was he friends with? I can't remember who he's friends with, but he had that Gatling gun, and his buddy got killed. His name's something Duke. He was the blackest dude on there. But long story short, he played in a few different movies. In that movie, but he was pretty much going into that book without sanctuary. And like I said, I've never seen it or read the book, but I've seen individuals go in on the book, and it's just a testament to Esau, Edom's wickedness. You know what I mean? This devil prides himself on what he did to us. It's some Northern Kingdom that work at the job I work at. And, Northern Kingdom, like would know his history. He going to Taino. He was like, yeah, we mixed with 3 different nations. So he was like, the Tainos. He said the Afro-Cubans, and I think he said Esau, or the Spaniards, which we was just chopping it up a little bit. And the crazy part about it is Jake. I mean, he a nigga, trust me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's something about Jake. Jake understand, even if they don't have the breakdown or actually have the truth of their heritage, they gravitate to that Bible. Because, it's in your spirit, like, I forgot who said it, but it was like how Jake naturally attracted to gold, It's in Jake's spirit to rock that gold, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can't never trust this devil, or, never trust thine enemy. So this book of Obadiah, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh Shabbat Shai, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of the destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is near upon all the heathen. Well, let's reread that one. You know, he's talking about the heathen going to be making it on the chariot. He said, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is near upon all the heathen. And we all know when you do a simple internet search what the day of the Lord is. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down. Because it talks about in Jeremiah and I think in Psalms about, that cup of dread. Scriptures say that Esau, Edom going to drink double. And they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. It said, but, Israel or Zion, another name for Israel, is going to pretty much be, in remembrance, or it shall be delivered, Salakia. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Verse 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. So it says it's going to burn Esau up, both the northern and the southern kingdom. And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua have spoken it. So ultimately, Esau, Edom is going to receive that judgment, that fire, for his transgressions against Jacob. So I'm gonna end the lesson there. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, similar to Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Elohim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata that are listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah and Mawath Lababah.